All right, I will now call this meeting to order. Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Adam,
Here.
Councilmember Newman,
Here.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Engler,
Here.
and Mayor Taylor.
Here. Next is our closed session. Mr. Newman, will you please announce tonight's session?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. There are 5 items listed on the agenda. However, I'll be pulling item 3B from the agenda for tonight. The remaining 4 items, the first 3 are conference with legal counsel pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A. The first one is City Thousand Oaks versus Sana. Second one is Robinson versus City. Third one is City versus Packard. And then the final matter is claim of Serrana pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9E3.
Thank you. And we have no speakers on these items, so we will go into closed session now and see you at 6 o'clock. All right, we are now back from closed session. Ms. Noonan, is there anything to report?
Nothing to report.
All right, if you are able, can you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice. All right. And now we are, for items 13A and B on the Council of Aging Annual Report and the fiscal year 2026 to 27 Community Social Service Grant recommendations. We are going to be moving those up on the agenda, and they will be heard following the consent calendar. So next up, we have our special presentation. So give me 1 second, and I will move to the podium. Unity Conejo is a, there we go. That wasn't on before, was it? Oh, good ears. Unity Conejo is a grassroots nonprofit organization based in the Conejo Valley. The organization is primarily focused on supporting and advocating for LGBTQIA+ youth and their families, working to ensure they have safe, inclusive, and affirming spaces within the community and local schools. Lily, before I have you speak, I'm actually going to invite Councilmember Ty Gutierrez up, who's going to share some words. Okay. guess you could have. I'll make it work.
That's okay. Hello, everyone. We are breaking from the script a little bit today, and I'm really grateful to Mayor Taylor's invitation to take a moment to speak and acknowledge the really brilliant work and meaningful work that Unity Caneo has taken on for our community long before they were ever recognized by our community in this really healthy, inclusive, and in this inclusive way. And so the moment that it is upon us right now was a long time coming and didn't just happen in one council member's time or one body of council members. It has come at the cost of many community members taking voice to their discrimination, their harassment, their lack of safety, their lack of representation. And I typically do not take up so strongly my own identity when I sit on this very honorable dais that is the City Council dais. But this is a moment, and because I was invited to speak, and I think that's really a point I want to drive, that we are no longer facilitating around intolerance. We are facilitating around inclusion. And for that, I want to be really clear about some of the ideas or schools of thought around proclamations or raising of the flags or the right flag or who's doing it and who's not. These are extremely difficult conversations within our community, so within the LGBTQ plus community and externally. And it takes a lot of courage internally and personally for all parties involved to have the conversations, but politically, it's even harder. And I don't know if that's right or wrong. I would argue it's probably wrong. It feels wrong when I'm having these really hard conversations that involve who I am. And so I'm just so really taken by this moment. And as someone who grew up in Thousand Oaks, loving their community and feeling safe, but being closeted, this moment is really meaningful for us all, staff, council, our community, and of course the nonprofit that we're recognizing this evening. And I just want to pause before we do politics, before we do is it enough, or could we do more, that we acknowledge what's happening and that we extend more love, not grace, not tolerance, more love. And I think that's really what our flags and our community really promotes. And that's a huge difference between any other conversation that we might have about identities, right? And what they mean to the community. How people identify, their backgrounds, their orientations, their preferences are theirs alone, and they do not take away agency from anyone. And so I apologize for taking a lot more time than I anticipated, but I wanted to also take up the space. I wanted to take up the space, and so thank you for sharing this. Thank you for the invitation, and I hope that it just grows, that Thousand Oaks, as a city, as a council, as a community, that we continue to come together in these inclusive ways without feeling that we are sacrificing something. Thank you all for being here so much. I'm excited for the other proclamations that are up next, but this one right now just is a moment in time for me personally, and I think for the Thousand Oaks LGBTQ plus community, that is significant, and I wanted to mark it by taking up time and space and saying my truth, and so thank you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Lily Berry. I am the Executive Board President of Unity Conejo, and this thing adjusts, right? I'm very tall. I just want to say thank you to Mayor Taylor, Councilmember Gutierrez, and the rest of City Council for their support and this proclamation. I'm also a Thousand Oaks. I was born here in Southern California, and then my family moved up here when I started high school. So I'm Newbury Park class of '06, very proudly Cal Lutheran class of 2020. And my friends, my family, and this great community are all very cherished things here that, them being here is, a function of Thousand Oaks, and this being such a beautiful place and such a place with great opportunity. So growing up as a closeted queer child here in Thousand Oaks, I think one of the main reasons why I was in the closet for so long, it took me so long to come out. I didn't come out until I was 30. And there were a lot of kind of dark times in there where I did not understand who I was. I did not have positive role models. I did not have a community around me that could explain some of the ways that I was feeling. So I came to it really late, and certainly, growing up in a Thousand Oaks that was a little bit more closed-minded, was a little bit less diverse, a little bit less welcoming of difference, was challenging. And so we put on a great event about a week and a half ago at Cal Lutheran. We invited over 700 happy celebrants to Kingsman Park. And we modeled what queer joy looks like out in the open, under the shade of the beautiful trees out there. And it was just a really happy day. It was a happy day to be in community and be able to see all the people that come from varied experiences, but they understand that diversity is a strength. And I didn't know I was going to get to speak today, so I apologize. I'm a little rambly. So happy Pride, everyone. Thank you for the proclamation, and I hope that Thousand Oaks can continue to embrace its diversity and see that diversity as a strength, and to look at some of the models of other cities in the county and throughout the Southern California area who have made slightly more demonstrative efforts to show queer people that they are welcome here. Thank you.
So on behalf of Thousand Oaks, we have this proclamation, and I'd like to invite you, and if any of your friends would like to come or family, to take a photo with council.
Oh, come on.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Go up to the front, I'll follow you.
Yes. Oh, I understand. Yes.
All right, I would like to now welcome Michael Arndt, co-founder and artistic director of the Kingsman Shakespeare Company. The Kingsman Shakespeare Company is a nonprofit professional theater organization dedicated to presenting the works of William Shakespeare for the education and entertainment of people of all ages. For the last 30 years, the Kingsman Shakespeare Company has helped to enrich the culture of the community, educate and foster lifelong theater learning in students, and promote the development and careers of future theater professionals in the Conejo Valley and City of Thousand Oaks. Michael, would you like to share some words? How are you? Thanks. See you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council for this recognition. The City of Thousand Oaks has been very instrumental from the very beginning of the Kingsman Shakespeare Festival, really helping the very beginning and continuing to assist us over the past 30 years, in which over 100,000 people have visited the beautiful Kingsman Park on the campus of California Lutheran University, seeing productions of William Shakespeare. As the only professional classic theater company of the City of Thousand Oaks, we're very proud to be in this community and share our wonderful festival with families. We have never charged anyone under the age of 18, and we will never charge anyone under the age of 18 to attend. And we urge everyone in Thousand Oaks and beyond to come to this summer's festival, which celebrates our 30th year by producing A Midsummer Night's Dream opening on June 19th and Hamlet opening on July 10th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael, on behalf of the City of Thousand Oaks, I'd like to present you.
If I could introduce
please
two
do.
of my members.
Yes.
Tim Hanks is the executive director of the Kingsman Shakespeare Company, and Jane Elliott is the chair of our board of directors.
Okay, would you guys like to join us in a photo?
Yes.
There you go, sir. I should be telling the council to come up, but everyone knows the drill. And for our final presentation of the evening is to recognize Juneteenth, which commemorates the ending of slavery in the United States. It is recognized on June 19th because that is when the Emancipation Proclamation reached enslaved people in Galveston, Texas in 1865. Juneteenth today celebrates African American contributions and achievements while encouraging cultural humility and understanding for all cultures. I'd like to welcome up Marlena Wallace, chair of CVUSD's African American District Advisory Council, along with her representatives to the podium.
Good evening to the council members, the city staff, and the community members. My name is Marlena Wallace. I am very proud to be the chair, the current chair, of the Conejo Valley Unified School District's African American District Advisory Council. That is a mouthful. You can call us ADAC. ADAC is a vital parent and community voice for African American and Black families within the school district. Council, I'd like to thank you for this proclamation recognizing Juneteenth. I am honored to receive it on the behalf of those who understand the deep meaning of that day. Juneteenth is not just Black history, it's American history. And it's a day that we can all be proud of as Americans. It's a day that we got a little closer to doing things right. The proclamation is meaningful because it says that this city chooses to remember. It says that we value contributions, resilience, culture, and the history of Black Americans. It also invites all of us, regardless of our background, to continue building a community where freedom, opportunity, dignity, and representation are real for everyone. It's both a celebration of freedom and it's a strong reminder that there was a very long struggle to make freedom real for everyone. It's also a very good reminder that, unfortunately, there will always be opposition to righteous progression. And just like on Juneteenth and many other times in our history, if we hold the line, we will prevail. So to my Black community, particularly the parents and the school-age children within the Conejo Valley School District, I'd like to invite you to join AIDAC and to become active in our efforts to support our children. Our priorities include student success, inclusion and safety, and community connection. We have a webpage on the CVUSD site where you can learn more and where you can get in contact with us. So once again, thank you so much for recognizing Juneteenth, and thank you for the honor of accepting the proclamation on behalf of our community.
So on behalf of Thousand Oaks, I'd like to present this proclamation, and if you guys would like to join us for a photo with council, I'll follow you out. We have to take a short recess. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, so hopefully it's not too long, but I'm going to stop us for a sec, and we'll be back hopefully soon. Okay, we are back up. Thank you, everyone, for being patient. Next up is public comments. Will the city clerk please announce public comments?
This is the time and place for public comments. Speakers are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. We have 4 speakers who have requested to speak, and pursuant to council standards, speakers are allowed 3 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. And Laura, I'm not seeing names. Do you mind calling the speakers for me? You're not seeing them either?
Our first speaker tonight is Jeanette Welling, and she'll be followed by Cheryl Hink.
Thank you.
Hello. I'm here tonight to just address some issues that I've seen from the Planning Commission approving a lot of highly developed plans that are submitted to the city. And I think that this is not setting a good precedent for the future of Thousand Oaks. I feel that we're losing something that makes it special, the peaceful semi-rural ambiance, and we're rapidly heading towards the San Fernando Valley type ambiance, which I don't like. And with over 1,600 residential units in the city's pipeline, from the massive TO Ranch development to the sweeping downtown Main Street master plan, we're completely abandoning, I think, a big picture vision. You're rezoning city-owned land for like 240 residential units and 7-story and 142-room hotel, and seemingly bypassing Measure E protections, tree protections, and height limits. I don't think that sets a good precedent. So we're seeing like a death by 1,000 cuts, specifically the systemic destruction of our mature urban canopy. If the city overrides its own laws and cuts down its own namesakes to build 7-story structures, how can we expect private developers to respect our environment? While I recognize state housing pressures, I understand that, I don't think we can let project-by-project approvals bind us to this cumulative, irreversible damage. So I'm asking this council, who is looking at the macro level impact on our infrastructure? In a wildlife emergency, our evacuation routes are already bottlenecks. How will our roads handle the thousands of new vehicles this hotel and these pipeline projects will bring? Where's the long-term water security for existing residents if we keep compounding demand during persistent droughts? And when does the increased traffic, air pollution, and clear-cutting of our mature tree canopy stop? I would hope that you would stop treating this overdevelopment as a foregone conclusion and scale down some of these projects. I think the City Council needs to fiercely protect local control, environmental safety, and our small town atmosphere that makes Thousand Oaks a community, not just a dense transit corridor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Next up will be Cheryl. Is it Hink? Is that how you pronounce your last name? Hink, okay.
Like Hink. Hello, Mayor and council members. I'm Cheryl Hink, and a longtime member here in Thousand Oaks, over 60 years, same house. Love the community, teacher here, retired about 25 years, so involved in a lot of things, and I'm here to share with you an idea. It actually, it's called Community Project 250, and I was aware of it through an article in the Star newspaper. A lady called Janice Okuma wrote in, and I picked up the idea. She's from Ventura, and I thought, wow, Ventura, come on. We're in Thousand Oaks. We need to pick this up here in Thousand Oaks. Okay, so I got excited about the expanse of the idea, and I thought, okay, come to City Council, go big or go home. So I'm here to share the idea with you. And I'm going to read to you the flyer because the details are right here. Then I'm going to leave the flyer I had about 15 of them over on the table and they disappeared. So whoever picked them up, I hope you share them wildly wherever. Okay, so it's for groups and clubs and it's called 250. And it's in honor of our country's 250th birthday. And we will be celebrating in parks and whatever. We'll be singing the national anthem. We'll be pledging allegiance. We'll be having a great time, barbecues. But when it's over, that's over. And how does our community get help from that? So this is an opportunity. So we're going to declare the number 250 as a challenge, a community challenge to serve. We're going to celebrate the whole month of July, not just to July 4th, in supporting our own community in 250 ways. Okay, so there's no project and no collection that's too small. So I suggest you, if you belong to a group or even individuals, you decide to participate. You decide on a local area to support. Some of the ideas might be, you might check with community websites for needs, what they need. You could collect $250 and donate to a local charity, keep it local. You could go to the beach, the park, creek, pick up 250 items of trash, bake 250 cookies and give it away to needy neighbors, collect food items for Manna, Food Share, etc. Collect 250 letters for military. That's what our Kiwanis group is going to be focused on. Could clean up somebody's yard, pull 250 weeds. Woohoo, how about that? Anyway, any helpful project, just go wild with your imagination. And if you want to, as I said, I had flyers. I have my email here. If you want to do something and let me know what your group is doing, that would be super. We could get some pictures, etc. I hear you. Okay, bye. Anyway, have fun. 250, celebrate with your clubs, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Next up will be Henry. Henry, you have a lot of energy to match after that.
I don't think I'm going to beat that one, but all right. Hello, Mayor and council members. I'd like to share a bit of our nation's birth certificate. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form that to them shall seem to affect their safety and happiness. Now, I want to mention how God is invoked 4 times in the Declaration: Creator, nature's God, divine providence, and supreme judge of the world. The Declaration of Independence is our foundation, and it has our principles. The Constitution is the structure which is built on top of our Declaration. So if you take the foundation away, what happens to the structure? It would just collapse. So with that said, let's prevent the collapse by remembering and honoring the principles upon which our nation was built. And I kindly request that we officially adopt and display our nation's national motto of "In God We Trust" in our public square. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Henry. And next up, we have Jack.
Good evening, Council. As our Declaration of Independence states, we are all endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Inalienable rights are rights that come from God. We are all born with them, and no one can take them away from us, not even the government. Did you know that the government was created for the purpose of protecting our inalienable rights? John Wise was a minister of the gospel in early America. From his sermons in the early 1700s, you will find these words. All men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. You will also find in his sermons that God's preferred form of government is the consent of the governed. And you will find the infamous phrase, taxation without representation is tyranny. Who knew? All of those ideas and words were preached by a pastor in the pulpits of America some 75 years prior to the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration Committee took those valuable truths from the sermons of John Wise from nearly a century prior and baked them into the Declaration. As we're about to celebrate our nation's 250th year of declaring our independence from the tyrant, King George of England, there is no better time than this supercentennial to begin acknowledging God and put forth in our national motto, "In God We Trust," in our City Hall. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Jack. Does the city manager have any follow-up on public comments?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Taylor. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to participate in tonight's meeting. With regards to the comments on development in the city, my understanding is that our Assistant City Manager, Akbar Alakan, has previously emailed Ms. Swelling and is more than happy to meet with you to address your concerns. We also have staff available to speak with you in the hallway this evening if you'd like to do that as well. And then on the 250th anniversary of our country, the city has a website, if you'd like to take a note of it, on ways that you can celebrate locally, and that is tokes.gov/250. Tokes.gov/250. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up is consent calendar. Does anyone have any questions or would like to pull any of the items? With nothing there, would somebody like a motion? Mr. Newman.
Calendar, please.
Mr. Adams jumped in. All right, we have a motion on the floor. Can City Clerk please prepare the vote?
I'll make this a roll call vote. So we'll start with Councilmember Adam,
Yes.
Councilmember Newman,
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Engler,
Yes.
and Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
All right, next up is tonight's committee report. Presenting the annual report tonight is Council on Aging Chair Dorothy Hatfield. And we have available for questions Community Service Analyst Sarah Males.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to present the 25-26 Council on Aging Annual Report. My name is Dorothy Hatfield, and it's been an honor to serve as the chair of the commission this past year. With me tonight are Vice Chair Joe Donahue and Commissioners Pamela Davis and Penny Greenblatt, who have dedicated countless hours in service to our older adult community. We appreciate the opportunity to share highlights of the Council on Aging's work, accomplishments, and activities from the past year.
One of the Commission's most valuable activities is our monthly guest speaker series. Throughout the year, Commissioners engaged with local agencies, nonprofits, and city departments to build relationships, to stay informed, and to provide input on issues affecting older adults. Topics have included city communications, partnerships with the Thousand Oaks Police Department vulnerable population officers, which I got to tell you, that was one lively session, and presentations from organizations such as Senior Concerns, Gold Coast Veterans Foundation, and the Caneo Free Clinic. These discussions help ensure that the needs and perspectives of older adults are reflected in the community programs and services. As a first-time commissioner, I got to tell you how informative and educational they are and how much they have helped make me a better member of the community. Another key opportunity for commissioners is serving as liaisons to community organizations that support older adults. In this role, commissioners strengthen partnerships, we stay informed on key initiatives, and provide monthly updates on programs, trends, and needs affecting older adults. This year, commissioners served as liaisons to the Ventura County Human Services Agency, the Area Agency on Aging, which, if you don't know, is going through a major transition over this next year. The Global Adult Community Center Commission, the Caneo Senior Volunteer Program, the Caneo Recreation and Park District, the Caneo Free Clinic, Senior Concerns, and many mansions. A summary of these liaison activities is included as attachment 1 to the staff report.
For the 4th consecutive year, the city proclaimed May as Older Americans Month, recognizing the vital contributions older adults make to the strength and vibrancy of our community. The City Council formally presented the proclamation at the May 12th meeting, and the framed proclamation is proudly displayed at the Global Adult Center as a visible recognition of this commitment.
Just have to lower it. The Council on Aging successfully launched its inaugural volunteer fair, Age of Possibilities, Igniting Purpose, an initiative designed to expand awareness of volunteer and civic engagement opportunities for older adults and residents. Planning began in September 2025 with a dedicated committee supported by the full Council on Aging, which led outreach, recruitment, and promotion efforts throughout the community. The event was held on April 17th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and brought together 27 local nonprofit and community organizations. Approximately 150 attendees participated, exploring volunteer opportunities, connecting with organizations aligned with their interests and skills, and discovering new ways to stay engaged. The event also strengthened collaboration among participating organizations. Strong attendance and positive feedback highlighted the success of the inaugural event and growing community interest in volunteerism and civic engagement.
The Council on Aging's Outreach and Resource Directory Committees continued the focus on connecting older adults and caregivers with timely, accessible community resources. This year, the committee completed and released our 3rd edition for the City of Thousand Oaks Resource Directory for older adults, which is available in large print, digital format, and Spanish translation. Each of you should have received a copy of it on your desk there, and if the audience wants a copy of this, there's copies over there on the desk, and we have more if we run out over there. The 30-page guide includes key services such as housing support, food resources, caregiving assistance, and adult daycare programs. To date, more than 1,000 printed copies have been distributed through the community, and the directory is also available at www.toaks.gov/olderadults. In January of 2026, the committee participated in the CSVP Annual Wellness Festival, engaging more than 700 attendees and sharing the resource directory. Commissioners also continue their outreach at the Global Adult Community Center, where they provide information, referrals, and distribute resources. Right in front of me. As you can see, we've had meaningful and productive year, and we greatly value the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Looking ahead to 26-27, we will work with the city manager's office to identify and prioritize future projects. These may include expanded outreach to organizations serving older adults, as well as initiatives that further support the work of the Council on Aging. Thank you for your time. And community service analysts, Males, myself, and the other commissioners are available for any questions.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Yep, Mr. Newman. Oh.
Yep.
Mr. Engler.
It's
partially comment and but question as well. The resource directory is what an asset for our community to have this out here for everybody. And thank you for doing this and all the other work that you're doing. We appreciate it. How are you getting this word out to everybody? Are you putting it into the Global Center and other library and that?
It is available at the Global Center, and we have commissioners that sit at the table next to the lunch people and talk to the people as they're standing in line, which is great because they're kind of stuck there. And until the doors open, so sorry. And we pass it out there, and we've had several times where somebody was looking for something and we could flip to the page and they're like going, I've been looking for this for 3 months. And so it really gives us a sense of pride to know that we're giving that information out to the people that need it.
Nothing like a captured audience there,
Right.
so that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that this has come in handy for folks, because that's sometimes there's services out there, getting that information out is so important.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the time you spend in our community. And it's
Thank you.
greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would somebody like to make a motion? Mr. Newman.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my privilege to move item 13A based on staff's recommendations.
And will the clerk please prepare the vote?
All right, I'll conduct another voice vote. Councilmember Adam?
Yes.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Engler?
Yes.
And Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Next is our second committee report, and presenting the report tonight is Community Funding Review Committee Chair Kyle Rohrbach and Vice Chair Kate Marley.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, council members, staff. I am Kyle Rohrbach. I am the chair of the Community Funding Review Committee, and as Mayor Taylor said, with me tonight is Vice Chair Kate Marley. It is our pleasure to present the committee's recommendations for the fiscal year 2026 to 2027 Community Social Services Grant Program, commonly referred to, and tonight I will be referring to it as the CSSG program. Funding for the CSSG program is included in the adopted fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. The program provides $200,000 annually to support nonprofit organizations that deliver social services to Thousand Oaks residents. To be eligible, applicants must be 501c3 nonprofit organizations located in or primarily serving the Thousand Oaks community. The application period was open from March 16th through April 16th, 2026. To ensure broad community awareness, the grant opportunity was promoted through the city's website, the City Scene newsletter, social media channels, press releases, and direct outreach to previous applicants. In addition, city staff hosted an annual grant application workshop for interested organizations, providing guidance on application processes and program requirements. That workshop was recorded and remains available on the dedicated grant opportunities webpage on the city website. The city received 34 applications, and the Community Funding Review Committee members independently reviewed and scored each application using an established evaluation criteria outlined in the grant program guidelines. On May 26, 2026, the committee met to discuss the results, review the rankings, and determine funding recommendations. And because total funding requests exceeded the available budget, the committee engaged in extensive discussion to develop an equitable allocation methodology. So following the review, the CFRC unanimously recommends awarding a total of $199,952.90 in grant funding to all 34 eligible applicants. And the organizations shown on your screen here are recommended for funding. That should represent all 34. Collectively, these programs provide a broad range of social services that meet the goals of the CSSG program and support a diverse cross-section of Thousand Oaks residents. The committee's recommendations are now before you for consideration. On behalf of the Community Funding Review Committee, we respectfully recommend that the City Council approve the fiscal year 2026 to 2027 Community Social Services Grant Awards as presented for that total allocation of $199,952.90. Community Services Analyst Sarah Males and Vice Chair Kate Marley and I are available for questions. And I am just going to add, since we're at the end of our cycle here, just a very quick thank you to Services Analyst Sarah Males, who has done a really excellent job preparing the committee every meeting to make sure that we're prepared after all those individual rankings. I think a lot of the work that she's doing goes unseen, and part of the reason that we're able to have those robust discussions is because we come in with everything sitting there ready for us. So just a real thank you to city staff for that. I'll also recognize my fellow committee member, Clyde Doheny, is here in the audience as well. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Orbach, for the great presentation. Does anyone on council have any questions? You did such a good job. We have nothing for you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to, Mr. Adams?
Yeah, I'm going to thank the committee. It can't be easy when you have 314,000 requests and you only have 199 to give out, but all 34 recipients received something. And it was a who's who list of social service agencies in the Conejo Valley. So thank you very much for your work on that. And with that, I will move, what have we got here? 10B.
13B.
What? 13.
Yeah, 1-3.
Oh, I'm on last week's agenda. No. 13B.
And we have a motion on the floor. Will the clerk please prepare the vote?
I'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Adam?
Yes?
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Engler?
Yes.
And Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. And next is our first public hearing. Will the city clerk please open the hearing?
Hearing advertised as required by law is open to consider agenda item 10A, Assembly Bill 2561, vacant position status. There are no speakers for this item.
And presenting the item tonight is Human Resource Department Director Jeanette Green.
Good evening. Sorry about that. I'm just getting myself set up here. Is it visible? Not yet. All right. My apologies. Good evening, Mayor Taylor and council members. My name is Jeanette Green. I'm the Director of Human Resources for the City of Thousand Oaks. Tonight's presentation fulfills the city's annual reporting requirements under Assembly Bill 2561, which took effect in late 2024. AB 2561 requires public agencies to report each year on job vacancies and on recruitment and retention efforts to help ensure adequate staffing and support strong labor relations. This report covers fiscal year 2025 to 2026. The law also gives recognized employee organizations the opportunity to speak at this hearing. The Department of Human Resources duly notified all 3 of the city's employee associations of their right to present this evening. AB 2561 also requires additional reporting requirements if vacancies exceed 20% in any bargaining unit. Currently, none of the city's bargaining unit vacancy rates meet these thresholds. At this time, the city has a total of 388 bargaining unit positions with an overall vacancy rate of 5.67% for all bargaining unit positions. This slide breaks down the vacancy rate by bargaining unit. You can see for TOSIA, it is 4.57%, TOMA 8.42%, and SMA 5.41%. To attract qualified candidates, the city uses a variety of recruitment strategies, including job boards, social media posts, job fairs, and other public outreach efforts. Earlier this year, the city transitioned to NeoGov as its new applicant tracking software platform, which includes access to advertising the city's jobs on governmentjobs.com. I'm happy to report that as a result of this transition, the city is beginning to see an increase in the number of applicants for city positions, and we expect this trend to continue going forward. As you know, the city also continues to offer competitive compensation and benefits, which remain an important part of attracting strong candidates. Regarding retention, our efforts are focused on employee engagement, professional development, and fostering a strong connection between employees and the organizations. To aid these efforts, the city recently completed a culture survey of all city employees to identify key factors to support retention. As a result of these efforts, the city continues to be a premier employer in Ventura County and throughout the region, and we remain committed to attracting and retaining a talented workforce. This concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do I have any questions from council? Mr. Engler.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Ms. Green, I think we have a very laudable, and thank you for this presentation. We're at 5% or so of vacancy rate. Is there a general consensus on why we are at 5%? Is this a collection of people who have retired, who have left our employment for other employment? Was there any trend that we could specifically identify?
With a vacancy rate that is that low, generally speaking, it's going to be a mix. It'll be voluntary resignations and some retirements. I don't think that there's any one factor that is pushing the vacancy rate as it is. We're very pleased with the numbers. We're pleased with our turnover rate. It's historically low, in my opinion, compared to other organizations that I've worked in. We're at about a 7% turnover rate. So I don't think there's any one particular factor that is causing the attrition that is occurring. It's just the normal, the normal process of turnover in any organization.
And you mentioned that we did a survey of our employees.
Yes.
Is there any particular item that the council needs to be aware of for that?
No, the survey, we literally just concluded it only a few weeks ago, so we're still going through and culling the information and understanding the results, so not at this time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Adams.
I was just going to say that it's pleasant to see that our vacancy rate is far below the threshold that the state seems to be concerned about, and also, more important, our turnover rate is also quite low, which says to me that we are competitive in compensation, and we've created a very positive culture here that people want to participate in and be employed in. So very happy to see that. And well, I guess I'll make a motion.
Wait, hang on. I can't make a motion yet.
What?
We got to close the public hearing before we go to motion.
We should do that.
Yeah, thank you, though, for the desire to do that. Mr. Chairman, the only question I have, it's a personal, I guess, opinion. How would you say the health of our organization is? Like, do you think we're doing well? What's your overall view?
Oh, absolutely excellent. I've been spending quite a bit of time over the last few months going out and talking to our employees and getting their feedback. I've been greeted by a workforce that's very engaged, that seems to understand the work that they do and their mission. They're very dedicated to it, and they're happy to be here. And they're also comfortable letting us know when there are things that they don't like or things that they wish for us to improve, and that's what you want to see in a healthy organization.
Oh, that's great to hear. And it's been great having you.
Thank you.
Great addition to the team.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for the presentation. I'm now going to close the public hearing. And Mr. Adams, would you like to move?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good point you made, that people feel comfortable speaking up and talking about their job and where they work, and that's a good thing, too.
Yes.
So with that, I will move 10A.
Thank you, sir. And will the clerk please prepare the vote?
All right, not quite there, so I'll do another roll call vote. Councilmember Adam?
Yes?
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Engler?
Yes.
And Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. And next up is our second hearing. Will the city clerk please open the public hearing?
Yes, this is hearing advertised as required by law, is open to consider agenda item 10B, Landscape and Lighting Assessment District number 79-2 for the fiscal year 2026-27, annual levy and annexations.
Thank you.
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you again. Presenting is our senior financial analyst, Miguel Chavez, and we have nodded for questions if we have any. Take it away.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, council members. Tonight, we are holding the annual public hearing and levy for the city's landscape and lighting district. Joining me this evening are Public Works Director Nader Hadari, and from Webb Municipal Finance, Nadia Benanali, who is available by Zoom to assist with any questions. The city's landscape and lighting assessment district provides funding for ongoing maintenance and operations of landscape and lighting improvements throughout the Thousand Oaks. This presentation will summarize the final engineer's reports, the proposed assessments, and the actions staff is recommending for council consideration this evening. Tonight's action is the second step in the annual assessment process. On April 14th, 2026, the council initiated the fiscal year 2026-2027 levy and annexation proceedings, set the public hearing date, and approved the preliminary engineers and annexation engineers' reports. Following the public hearing this evening, staff recommends confirming approval of the final reports, adopting the annual levy resolutions, tabulating the annexation ballots and declaring the results, and if approved, adopting the related annexation resolutions. The landscaping district is divided into 39 zones and 4 subzones throughout the city, shown here in blue. It includes over 18,000 assessed parcels and encompasses more than 27,000 trees and approximately 17.5 million square feet of landscaped areas. This slide highlights the special benefits of improvements funded by landscape district assessments, including improved neighborhood appearance, better integration of the urban and natural environment, erosion and dust control, improved traffic circulation and driver awareness, reduced noise and air pollution, and enhanced community pride. The city's lighting district is divided into 6 lighting zones throughout the city. The district includes over 36,000 assessed parcels, encompasses nearly 8,000 streetlights, 136 traffic signals, and 40 lighted pedestrian crossings along the public streets. This slide highlights the special benefits of improvements funded by lighting district assessments, including enhanced nighttime safety, improved visibility for motorists and pedestrians, better traffic circulation and driver awareness, and increased security for residential and commercial properties. Under the voter-approved formula, assessment rates for all landscape and lighting district zones are proposed to increase by 3.02% for fiscal year 2026-27, based on the annual change in the local consumer price index. Average landscape assessment rates are proposed to increase by $11.27. The higher maximum rates generally apply in areas with more extensive maintenance needs, such as landscaped medians, parkways, street trees, and weed abatement. Lighting assessments are also proposed to increase by the allowable 3.02% inflationary adjustment, which equals a 62-cent increase over the last fiscal year. Any increase above that voter-approved annual adjustment would require district voter approval. This slide highlights Landscape District capital projects budgeted in the adopted fiscal year 2025-27 capital improvement program. Altogether, 8 new citywide projects were funded, totaling $9.375 million over fiscal years 2025-26 and 2026-27. This slide highlights Lighting District capital projects budgeted in the adopted fiscal year 2025-27 capital improvement program. This program includes 10 new citywide projects totaling $2.19 million over fiscal years 2025-26 and 2026-27. This slide provides an overview of Annexation Zone 40, a proposed new assessment district located at the former Timber School site near the Newberry Road and Kelly Road. The proposed zone includes 2 assessed parcels representing a little over 173 equivalent benefit units and will use district assessments to fund maintenance of sidewalks, stamped concrete, curb and gutter, 6 street trees, and 1 street light. The district continues to face cost pressures, driven primarily by utility rate increases and higher costs for equipment, materials, and labor. The lighting district also relies on ad valorem tax subsidies to help offset maintenance and utility expenses. Public Works is targeting landscape rehabilitation projects that reduce water use, including smart irrigation upgrades. In addition, the district is budgeting for fire resiliency and system reliability, including backup power and priority traffic signal and lighting upgrades reflected in the capital improvement program. Tonight, staff recommends that City Council confirm approval of the final engineer's report for Landscaping and Lighting Assessment District number 79-2 for fiscal year 2026-27, and adopt resolutions approving the engineer's report, ordering the annual levy of assessments, confirming approval of the final annexation engineer's report, tabulating assessment ballots submitted and not withdrawn, and declaring the results, and if no majority protest exists, ordering the annexation and levy of assessments. Staff also recommends approval of the billing of direct assessments agreement with Ventura County Auditor Controller, and a finding that this action is not a project under the California Environment Quality Act. And with that, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Are there any questions? Oh, Mr. Newman.
Yes, thank you very much for your report. I appreciate the first point on the last slide about costs rising sometimes faster than revenues support. I wonder if you could provide more color around, on the one hand, the city has a policy of cost recovery, meaning we set our fees at whatever it costs to provide a service. And that's a policy we follow widely. On the other hand, while we've had relatively low inflation over the past year, it was at something like 2.4 at the beginning of the year. In more recent months, it shot up quite a bit. The most recent month we have is April. It was 3.8%, which is a very rapid rate of increase. I wonder if you can provide some color around how we cope with rapidly increasing costs when we do this exercise only once a year. Do we treat the cost increase as a trailing indicator? So we come back in a year and say, well, in the past year, we had higher costs, so we need to hike it more. Do we do mid-year corrections? How do we accommodate these rising costs and handle our cost recovery policy?
Well, I would be speaking really for Public Works, but I could tell you, Public Works has been looking forward, say in our capital improvement budget, looking at installing water meters, the fire resiliency, the backup for power for lights, lighting upgrades. And I know that the lighting and the landscaping teams have done a lot to manage those costs while still providing high service. And I think the key here is that we still continue to provide high service to our residents. So we do look ahead, and Narado, if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Miguel's comments, it's a kind of a twofold system. Since we do it every year, it doesn't, get away from us, because that is a pretty good frequency of revisiting the district costs and revenues. And also, we do capture the entire inflation. So whether we do it on, since we're doing it every 12 months, it is always absorbed or captured, so we're able to keep up with that. Now, obviously, CPI is one thing, and utility costs and other things are maybe sometimes on a different scale in terms of cost increases. But either way, that's part of the overall analysis here. And
Okay, so it's conceivable if this is a hypothetical, but if prices rise or continue to rise, we could see a sharper uptick in next year's, when we do this next year, again, to do that recovery of the actual costs.
yeah, that is correct. And if circumstances like that keep compounding, then we just simply have to cut back on the amount of projects that we forecasted. So instead of doing all the projects that we had budgeted, we may have to, reduce that slightly on a few of the projects, or, de-scope a few things to stay within the budget.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We will now open public testimony, if any. No?
Bless you.
All right, there are only 2 ballots tonight, and I've been told by the city clerk that we have received both. All right. So we will now close the public hearing, and will the city clerk please provide results of the tabulation?
Yes, the results are as follows. Both ballots cast for the district voted yes for annexation and assessment for the rate amount of $148.70 per equivalent benefit unit, or EBU. There were no ballots that voted no. The ballots are 100% in favor of assessment and annexation.
Thank you. Since the assessment ballots are in favor, a motion is in order to approve recommendations 1 through 7 in staff report. Would anyone like to make that motion? Ms. Gutierrez.
Sorry, I'd like to move item 10B as recommended by staff.
Thank you. Will city clerk please prepare the vote? We're going old school all night, huh?
Can I have your voice vote, Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
And Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Oh, so we're making improvement. 3 out of, okay, here we go. All right, next is our final public hearing. Will the city clerk please open the hearing?
Yes, this item is a hearing advertised as required by law, is open to consider agenda item number 10C, the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan update and the 2025 Water Shortage Contingency Plan. There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you. And presenting the item tonight is Utilities Superintendent Mike Devlahovich, Utilities Maintenance Supervisor Brett Sherman, and Public Works Department Director Nader Hadiri.
All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Mike Devlahovich, Utilities Superintendent, and tonight we will be presenting the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and the 2025 Water Shortage Contingency Plan. Joining me on the dais tonight is Public Works Director Nader Hadiri and Brett Sherman, Water Division Supervisor, and online our consulting engineer Heather Freed and Kason Roberts are on Zoom, available for questions after. So these documents evaluate the city's long-term water supply reliability and drought preparedness through year 2050. Staff is requesting City Council adoption of the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and the 2025 Water Shortage Contingency Plan. These documents satisfy state planning requirements and support continued eligibility for water-related grants and funding opportunities. What is an urban water management plan? The plan serves as the city's long-range water resources planning document and is updated every 5 years. It demonstrates how the city will meet future water demands while maintaining compliance with state regulations. Since the original Urban Water Management Plan Act was adopted in 1983, plan requirements have expanded to include conservation, drought planning, water loss reporting, and water shortage contingency planning. The 2025 update largely continues the framework established in the 2020 Urban Water Management Plans with additional compliance reporting requirements. Here are those requirements. California state law requires urban water suppliers to evaluate water supplies and demands under certain conditions over a 25-year period. The Urban Water Management Plan takes into account water supplies and availability of water sources, impacts of droughts, conditions of water supply, and the impacts of conservation measures and other demand management measures. These analyses help ensure the water agencies are prepared to provide reliable services under both normal and drought conditions. Population projections are a key component of water demand forecasting and were developed using the latest regional planning data and local service records. The projections indicate relatively stable population trends within the city service area through 2050. Data sources for projections include the 2020 U.S. Census data, Connect SoCal 2024 Regional Transportation Plan, Sustainable Community Strategy, and the Thousand Oaks General Plan 2045. Future water demand projections account for historical water use, conservation achievements, changing customer behavior, and projected growth. The forecast also incorporates anticipated reduction required under California's emerging water conservation regulation, Making Conservation a California Way of Life, which was adopted by the State Water Board in July of 2024 and became effective starting January 1st, 2025. The indoor water use standard is changing from 55 gallons per capita per day to 47 gallons per capita per day in 2027. The trend becomes relatively stable into the future projections with small decreases anticipated from conservation regulations. And on the slide you can see since 2007 there's been nearly 40% decrease in water use. Since 21, that's been a 20% decrease indicated by both drops under 2015 and 2020 on the graph. The city's water supplies provided through Calleguas Municipal Water District are projected to meet demands under normal conditions in most drought scenarios. Planning analysis indicates that only modest conservation actions may be needed during an extended multi-year drought. For this year's Urban Water Management Plan, the city utilized the same consultant, WSC, as Calleguas for updating its Urban Water Management Plan. This strategy was utilized to benefit from data sharing and developing future supply projections, as the city is 100% reliant upon imported water from Calleguas at this time. The Water Shortage Contingency Plan establishes the city's response framework for water shortage and drought emergencies. It includes 6 standard shortage levels and identifies conservation measures, operational actions, and public communication strategies that may be implemented as conditions warrant. The 6 standard shortage levels are updated in the city's municipal code in 2022 following the 2021 drought to reflect state requirements. The city continues to invest in a comprehensive portfolio of conservation programs, water use efficiency measures, and public outreach efforts. These programs help reduce water demand, improve system efficiencies, and support long-term water supply reliability. Some examples of demand management measures are water waste prevention ordinances, AMI metering, conservation pricing, public education and outreach, management of real losses from the distribution system, and water rebates. Water rebates are available to city water customers through Metropolitan's regional Be Water Wise rebate program. And this concludes our presentation of the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and Water Shortage Contingency Plan. Staff is recommending the adoption of both these plans, and we'd be happy to answer questions at this time.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone from council have any questions? Mr. Adams?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, those numbers are very impressive to think that we're down 40% in our water usage in the last 20 years and down 20% in the last 5 years. That's not incremental. That's huge, actually, which is kind of comforting, you know, with the focus on water in Southern California. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, Councilmember Adam. I think there's a combination of factors. If you look at one item is our as you know, our population locally in Thousand Oaks has had a slight decline over that same time period. So that has a partial factor in the reduction in water usage citywide. Also, a lot of residents, I think, have upgraded their irrigation systems. As you know, most of the water usage is outdoor water usage, and so whether it was the virtue of the messaging and the actions that people took during the last drought, you know, resetting their irrigation timer instead of irrigating their lawn 6 days a week, maybe they dropped it to 2 and they realized that everything's still fine, the lawn still survives, and you know, just being wiser with the water. A lot of home improvements that have taken place over the past 20 years, you know, all these new fixtures and appliances that people have been replacing older fixtures and appliances with are significantly more, water-wise in terms of water usage. And you know, many people have actually went the further step of removing their lawns, and there's still a long way to go with, with that item as well as with commercial, industrial, and institutional properties. But significant progress has been made over the past 20 years in those areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are getting the message, and so is the city. We're not doing a lot less irrigating than we used to, medians and things like that. I'm sure that's saving millions of gallons of water.
Yeah, I mean, all together, just looking at the 20% reduction from where we were 5 years ago, that's 600 million gallons a year of water that the overall.
Is that right?
Our entire water service area, us and our customers are saving from where we were just in 2021.
That's a lot of water. 600 million. And with our the population numbers just came out, and we're at a 10-year low in the population in Thousand Oaks. We dropped to 121,000 people. Do you see that water conservation trend continuing and getting better than where we are now?
Yes, certainly, whether it's with existing properties or even the small amount of additional new developments that may be taking place in the current building code. You know, you build a new project, a new residential or commercial project, the amount of improvements you have to put in and the plumbing and the irrigation, the restrictions on those in the new building code are pretty significant to help reduce. And in fact, those projects, even the newer projects coming in, if you're talking about some population and maybe we're having a small uptick with some additional projects coming on board, those multifamily projects are, per resident, use roughly half of the water of a typical single-family home resident.
That's a good point. Our infill projects use significantly less water than our sprawling giant tract projects back in the 60s and 70s. So that helps to contribute to that, I'm sure. Hey, thank you, Nader. Appreciate that.
Mr. Newman.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks very much for your report. Following up on Councilmember Adams' questions about population growth projections, a couple of questions on this. One is, am I correct in viewing that graph that the projection is for relatively flat population, not growth, not subtraction?
Yes,
is that a fair assessment? Are there contingencies in place if, to be clear, this is a projection, so are there contingencies in place if it's not that flat line, but either population declines somewhat or increases away from that flat line? How prepared are we to deal with changes in population either way?
Yeah, so this plan is something that we revisit frequently. So that allows us to, again, stay current with the trends and be able to monitor if there's an influx in young people moving into Thousand Oaks or there's a big population uptick. we can consider that each time we update the plan and look forward. And we're doing that in conjunction with, as Mike mentioned, with Cayugas, and Metropolitan just released their urban water management plan as well. So a lot of planning is going on, and it was good to read on their plan that they have, even on their own entire Metropolitan Water Service District area, which is most of Southern California, that they have supply capability sufficient to meet demands through 2050 under normal conditions, a single dry year, or a period of drought lasting 5 consecutive years. So that's thanks to their storage and other means and methods that they've been building over the years to, drought-proof themselves as best they can. So that's comforting to hear.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Engler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're dependent on the State Water Project for our water. There was a letter to the editor, I think, two weeks ago, who proposed that we would use the opportunity of another project by another agency. I was approached by a couple of citizens asking why we aren't doing that. And I, not being an expert in water, I gave my opinion and my thoughts. But I was wondering, can you go a little bit into the advantages or disadvantages of that proposal?
Yeah, sure. We had extensive communication with that agency, which is the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District, as they were planning their $500 million pure water project in Agora and Westlake, which will need to traverse through Thousand Oaks to dispose of their discharge from that reverse osmosis processing plant, and the possibility of us sending a parallel pipeline back toward their plant to be treated, to take our city groundwater, which is, there's a very small amount of that, and or our effluent from our wastewater treatment plant to help feed in and generate some new potable water source locally for Thousand Oaks. Ultimately, that plan that was not pursued. There's a variety of factors. Primarily, it was the capital cost. We were looking at something between $50 and $100 million, perhaps more than that. That was the estimates about 2 years ago, so probably north of $100 million now to provide that pipeline to them and the pumping associated with it. But beyond that, there would be a significant annual operational cost. And what was the largest hurdle was that their plant was not being designed or sized to accommodate for that much flow coming from us to be treated. They would have to significantly expand their plant, and they have seasonal issues with their plant. They can't operate it throughout the entire year. So we would have a pipeline that gets used sometimes and doesn't get used other times. And when we put it all together, we were looking at a maybe 50% or larger rate increase for our residents for water to be able to generate a small amount of local potable water source. The good news is that Las Virgenes' project is going to reduce the burden regionally on how much imported water is needed for western LA County and eastern Ventura County. So by virtue of them doing their pure water project and doing some water recycling in Westlake and Agora and Calabasas, that is an overall reduction in demand from imported water from Metropolitan Water District, which frees up a little bit more capacity for us and other agencies that are reliant on the imported water.
There's sounds like a huge upfront capital cost that would come back into the rates. But that's water that we would just send downriver to our partners downstream from us. Is the cost of recovering that water about the same as the imported water?
The current cost of the effluent from the treatment plant that's being purchased by the downstream water agency in Camarillo, is that what you're referring to?
No, I was thinking, all things being equal, I know we're selling water downstream, but is the cost of the reclaimed water that Las Virgenes is putting out, is that about the same as the imported water?
No, it is higher. It is slightly higher.
So it's more expensive?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Newman.
To follow up on Mr. Engler's questions, not sure if you covered this, I may not have heard it, but in addition to the fact, or if the various factors you laid out, the energy cost of pumping water uphill, the cost of building facilities to do all this, even if those things weren't, if we could somehow make those go away, isn't there also an existing contractual arrangement with another water provider for the water already coming out? And if there is, how long is that contract in effect?
Yeah, so that's the 8 million gallons a day that is coming out of Hill Canyon Treatment Plant, which is now currently, it is under contract to be beneficially reused by Camarosa Water District. That contract runs to 2053. That was part of a larger water diversion project, and it had other environmental components associated with it. Camarosa expended some dollars to construct back in 2013. So that was a 40-year agreement. So there is still 27 years left on that agreement. So that is another area that disallows us from suddenly, moving our water or repurposing it for another use. Now, with that being said, we are in collaborative and ongoing discussions with Camarosa and Cayugas to look for regional water solutions to help the entire, not just for Thousand Oaks, but Simi Valley and Moore Park are involved in those discussions, and primarily focusing on eastern Ventura County to find a better package of resiliency for more local water sources.
Yeah, and I'm glad you point that out, that they're good partners on our shared goal of finding other sources. But as for the existing water, if I understand right, even without all these other issues, you're saying that water is spoken for the next 27 years. It's under
That's where we
contractual
currently stand,
obligation.
yes.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
Right, thank you. I'm now going to close the public hearing. And would anyone like to make a comment or a motion? Mr. Newman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I will go ahead and move item 10C based on staff's recommendations.
And will the clerk please prepare the vote?
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Thank you, and that motion passes 5-0.
Just inching along. We're getting there. All right. Next up is tonight's department report, and presenting the item is City Clerk Laura McGuire.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Well, it's like the internet gremlins were waiting for this item, because before you tonight is an item regarding technological disruptions of city council meetings, which we just experienced earlier this evening. Let's see. There we go. So, some background. On October 3rd, 2025, Senate Bill 707 was signed by Governor Newsom. This brought significant changes to public agencies' meetings. It updated the Ralph M. Brown Act. It's intended to diversify and increase public engagement in local government. It also is, it's meant to address some pandemic-era technological advancements, such as remote participation for the public. So during the pandemic, Thousand Oaks was able to quickly take advantage of technology to continue to offer virtual open chambers via Zoom technology. So now Senate Bill 707 now codifies this type of video and audio conference engagement for all eligible agencies. And of course, SB 707 now places new restrictions, expectations, and duties upon eligible bodies. So SB 707 defines an eligible body as a city council of a city with a population of 30,000 or more, among some other qualifications. The bill requires that all eligible legislative bodies offer hybrid meetings. So this means the public must be able to have the opportunity to participate through a two-way phone or video platform in real time, unless the technology is not available at the meeting location, or if the meeting is, for example, a tour of an off-site location. So SB 707 requires a policy to address 3 areas. Now that everyone is being, most eligible bodies are being required to offer hybrid meetings. So we have the 3 areas are procedures for recessing and reconvening the meeting during a technological disruption, efforts that the legislative body will make to restore service, and then the documentation of the disruption. The summary of the policy is procedures for recessing the meeting when there is a disruption. So the mayor or the city clerk will announce the disruption. The mayor will call for a recess, like he did earlier this evening. During the recess, staff will try to diagnose and restore the service for 1 hour, unless it's restored earlier. So procedures for reconvening the meeting. So if and when service has been restored, the meeting may be reconvened. If service has not been restored at the 1 hour mark, the city clerk or the mayor will report on staff's efforts to restore the service. And at this point, the city council has a few options. City council may adjourn the meeting. That's one. The second one, they may extend the recess to continue the troubleshooting. Or the third one, they may vote to continue to open session and adopt a finding that the city made good faith efforts to restore the service and that the public interest in continuing the meeting outweighs the public interest in the two-way remote public access. And then finally, the restoration efforts must be documented in the meeting minutes. So that's where I would write down what happened at what time and what efforts were made, and then what we decided to do. And this has been short and sweet, and here are your recommendations to adopt the policy and to find that this is not a project under CEQA. And with that, myself and Assistant City Attorney Rosemary Koo are available for questions.
So we just had a little test run today.
Yes, exactly. I've taken a lot of notes tonight.
It's good. Impeccable timing.
The Teams chats have been going on.
Does council have any questions? Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you so much for the report and the timely drill. I hope we all pass with flying colors. But I did have a question I know it doesn't impact us. I know we offer this, we've been delivering at this standard for civic engagement for our community since COVID, and we continued it. So great work there. Does this impact any of our other, committees, or I know our commissions also have a remote access, but I just wanted to ask if there was any other governing bodies that we are, no. Okay, lovely.
No, the City Council is the only eligible body according to the definitions in the bill.
There it is. Thank you.
If I could just add one thing, though, that doesn't mean that those, like, for example, Planning Commission is not subject to this policy and this law. They'll continue to provide the remote option, but the process of having to take a recess if the technology is disrupted would not apply to them. They could continue the meeting in compliance with the Bryan Act without going through that process.
Yes, I see. Thank you.
You want to
Appreciate
move
the
it?
clarification. And yes,
Thank
I
you.
would love to move this item. This is item 12A. Thank you.
And will the clerk please prepare the vote?
Oh, we almost had it.
Dang, we got one more shot at this.
Let's see. Yep. Okay, roll call vote it is. Councilmember Adam?
Yes.
Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Engler?
Yes.
And Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
And last is our council member report on a recent conference. Council members Adam and Engler and myself were there. And so I'm going to start and ask Al Adams to report how it went, anything that you feel like is relevant for the community to know.
Yes, it was my pleasure to attend the Southern California Association of Governments Conference, May 4th and 5th, with my esteemed colleagues, Bob and Mikey. And actually, SCAG is quite a large area. 6 counties, I wrote this down, 91 cities, 19 million residents. It's 50% of the state, and we were there. Here's a good one, $1.6 trillion GDP of these 6 counties. It's the 15th largest economy worldwide. How about that? Anyway, SCAG does a lot. They were working on $200 million to accelerate housing, a $200 million grant. They got a $1.25 billion grant from the government for transportation improvements. It's iffy on that, but they're working on it. But they're very focused on the 2028 Olympics, and that's part of the transportation to get people where they need to go. I mean, the big focus was on housing, and how do you finance it? Where do you get the land? Where do you get the utilities? How do you get the governments involved and to get the housing built? And another focus was AI. Losing some jobs but gaining others. Hopefully it's a zero-sum game and we create as many jobs as we lose. So big focus on AI. And it was a good conference. Glad I was there.
Mr. Engler.
I think my colleague there covered most of it. I did attend the AI breakout sessions. The one thing that AI can't really do, and that is interact on a human level the way people do. A city, that is the core business of a city, is to react on a human basis with one another and make progress for the city. So AI will assist us with that, but I don't think any near future will we can expect AI to replace all of our employees. We still have that human relationship that people expect in a city.
Yeah, that's right. And just to touch on that, because it's really interesting, Anthropic put out a report a few months ago, but they were talking about all the industries that they think are going to be impacted by AI and at the level. And small service-based businesses are going to be the last to be disrupted, and they'll be disrupted at the smallest amount. So I think that's a good sign as well. I completely agree. The computer can't do this with people, which I think is going to be positive. All right. Would anybody like to make a comment or a motion?
I'll move it.
Okay, Al, take it. Take us away.
Yeah, what's the item again?
15B.
15B. A.
Oh.
I thought he said B.
No,
A.
it's 15B. Yeah.
A.
I don't have an A.
There's a typo on your script. It is 15A.
Oh, gosh.
That is my fault. Sorry.
I'm like, this is... All right.
15A.
We got it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you please prepare the vote?
Does that count as a disruption? Do we have to
We'll move into
reconvene
recess.
now? Okay.
All right, get us
Good.
back on track.
All right, we're like 0 for 5 here. So Councilmember Adam,
Yes.
Councilmember Newman,
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Engler,
Yes.
and Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. You did a great job tonight with all the practice for future disruptions. Next, we have city manager announcements. Ms. Hardy, do you have any announcements for us?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mayor Taylor. We have 2 more meetings until our summer recess. The next meeting will take place on Tuesday, June 23rd, and that evening we will have our public hearing on our downtown project entitlement. That concludes my comment.
Thank you. I will now adjourn the meeting to the next regular meeting on June 23rd.